lot of ways to still save in crypto.
They're amazing. They're the best.
It was keeping me up at night. Let's blow this myth out of the water real quick.
Now it all makes sense.
And they were saying, hey, I'm losing sleep over this. Oh, my crypto taxes.
It led to this awesome relationship.
Our leadership team's all former Big Four. You're not anonymous. We didn't want to be the typical boring accounting agency, so you don't have to fire your CPA to work with us.
The best ideas and businesses are born out of a problem. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Onchain Media podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Onchain, and today we have a very special guest with us here today. This is the very first sponsor of Onchain Media, and I want to take a moment to give Nick and the Count on Sheep team their flowers because they were the first ones to believe in the mission of Onchain Media and the vision of Onchain Media, and the first sponsor we ever had. So full circle, we're coming back years later. I've been connected with Nick for a very long time. I've loved my experience with his team. Nick is an incredible human being, working very hard here in my local community too. So Nick, anyway, I gotta pause and stop from my flower tangent here, but we seriously wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for you being the first, right, to say we believe in you and jump in and get involved in the on-chain media world. So thank you. And welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you having me again, and thank you so much. And it's been too long. Love your show. Love what you're doing with the base community, as always. You've been pulling everybody together. You really are the glue. So to have it means the world to me. It's been too long, and there's a lot to catch up on. A lot going on. We're not going to do a boring show. I'm not going to bring it.
No.
Everything's going to be actionable insight can use right now. We can talk about how to make money in crypto all day and shoot for the moon. But also my narrative is like, how do we save more of the crypto that we earn? So we're going to have that chat today for sure.
Well, cheers to that, because I feel like the way Count on Sheep operates, it's a crypto tax project. So when you hear that, I feel like most people's brains go, oh, that's not fun. But the way the team is run Count on Sheep is it's fun, it's easy. It's like you're actually building a community around this too. And I love that you've prioritized actually being a sponsor at our recent event with Stand with Crypto. So the fact that you're showing up in the community, you're supporting initiatives like that, it shows that you care about the people too, and the education side of it. So that's the reason we're here today. We want to dive into strategies to help you save on your taxes to make sure you're not overpaying. And I want people to understand what the common pitfalls are and things when you're traversing this alone, right? Like, what are the common mistakes people make? So anyway, before we dive all into that, I want to rewind a little bit and just talk to Nick, talk to you as an individual and hear your story. What got you into crypto? What got you into Count on Sheep? We've heard it before on the show, but just to reiterate for any folks who are just hearing for the first time.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rachel. So, Count on Sheep was kind of born out of necessity. It was part of my journey in crypto and having an issue arise with my crypto tax. I was selling my company a few years ago. It was the second time we sold it, to be fair. In 2022, 2021, that's kind of when we were going through that M&A kind of process when you go to sell a company. And as we were going through the financials and the accounting piece, it became very apparent that I needed to reconcile my crypto transactions. I've been collecting since 2015. I was brought into the crypto game through Marco from Genesis Mining, who was a client of ours doing the biggest mining operation on earth at the time out of Iceland. So I started collecting early days because of him, which was great. And that really paid off for me. I was eclipsing 8 figures in my account come 2021 from the buying and the holding. But at the same time, I felt like I had the biggest target on my back. I felt like the IRS could come after me at any moment. I wasn't really trading that much. There wasn't that much disposal where I would be taxed, but still, it didn't feel like it was being managed correctly. And I wanted to get that all under wraps. I was working with the Big Four at the time. They were doing my personal tax as well, as long as with some business stuff that we were going through with M&A. And they weren't able to reconcile. They didn't really understand it. They didn't understand how decentralized networks work, and they didn't understand how to chase cost basis from one exchange, one wallet to another. So they ultimately said I owed millions of dollars when clearly that wasn't the case. I went for a second opinion. I found someone that was specialized in this, and she was former Ernst & Young, was in the Midwest. And ultimately, she was able to tie back all my trading activity and all my exchanges all into one spot. And she was able to reconcile. And she found out that I actually had a tax loss of quite a bit. So with that said, that light bulb went off. I said, hey, a hero needs rather how do I say this? We needed a hero in the accounting department in crypto. I didn't think me for necessarily. I came from a marketing background. But
Now it all makes sense. I was just telling you, I know you have a marketing mind. So
yeah, so that was kind of my core competency. But having done so much of the M&A thing and worked with a lot of the finance as a business owner, I said, okay, it's time to tackle this issue. And we got into it. We realized that it wasn't just a problem for wealthy people, for instance. It was actually a problem that affects everybody down the chain. So we started helping friends, family. We did a whole year worth of R&D. This was venture backed by my venture firm, by Bjorn. And then ultimately, when we found out that we had a concept and that we were really good at this, we rolled it out to Count on Sheep. We've done over 3 tax seasons now, going into our 4th. And we're just super excited. The game has changed, it's evolved, and there's a lot of ways to still save in crypto and make sure you're not overpaying your taxes.
well, wow. Isn't it funny how I feel like in entrepreneurship, sometimes the best ideas and businesses are born out of a problem, right? It's like you had a problem, you had to figure out how to fix it. And then it's like, oh, wait, I can build a business around this and like a career. So I think that's really interesting that you encountered that as an issue and prioritized it. And it seems like, Nick, you've really nailed it on the marketing for Count on Sheep. Like I said, my partner's been watching videos on copywriting, right? And it says that when you can visualize something, you're more likely to remember it. You're more likely to file it away in the parts of your brain where it's, oh, yeah, I remember that, or I care about that, versus something that's more abstract. And Count on Sheep, I just feel like it's a great name. It's a great brand. And they literally are helping you sleep at night, not worrying about your taxes. So
Thanks, Rachel. I mean, 100%. We didn't want to be boring. We didn't want to be the typical boring accounting agency, naming it Slettengren, my last name,
yeah.
and Waller, my co-founder. I mean, we're old enough where we don't have that kind of ego, and we want something that people could really respond to. And the funny thing is we saw a common occurrence when we were getting on the phone with people, and they were saying, "Hey, I'm losing sleep over this," and this is exactly how I felt. Like I was losing sleep over the crypto accounting. It was keeping me up at night. And so I really felt that. So I was like, well, what do you do to go to sleep? And count sheep. So we did Count on Sheep. And
Was that a real conversation? Like, did you have that talk with someone one day and then it came to you?
yeah, I mean, and it wasn't like obvious because it was said a few times by different people. And it resonated with me. And I was just like, whoa, like I was completely in your situation where I was like sitting up in the middle of the night in bed and being like, oh, my crypto taxes. So that was kind of what brought us to that name, and it's been working for us. It's a fun name to remember, but also we're backed by some serious people. I mean, we're venture backed, and our leadership team's all former Big Four. So for those that don't know on the show, former Big Four are the top accounting firms in the world. So I mean, those are the people that are
Wow.
our layer one, if you will, that look at everything, that guide our strategies internally, and that really make us who we are today.
Well, it sounds like you've assembled a really elite, like Avengers team of crypto tax people. And I just feel really honored. I'll kind of rewind a little to when I first heard of you. But Rob from the Onchain Summit crew, when he gets excited about something, it's like he just kept telling me, Rachel, you got to connect to Count on Sheep. They're amazing. They're the best. They're the best, the best. And he told me so many times, me, Bill, several others in the community, that seeing his excitement really lit me up. And I'm like, okay, we definitely got to connect with these guys. And I'm so happy we did, because seriously, it led to this awesome relationship, being our first sponsor, full circle coming back on, and also sponsoring our recent event. So super grateful for the journey of knowing. And before we dive deeper here into some of your milestones, things you've accomplished, things that are on the roadmap, I'm curious if we can give a high level overview of what Count on Sheep is. What are the core problems, and functionally, what are the services that you provide?
Absolutely. So, I mean, when you're doing your crypto tax, you're really looking for 3 forms that you want to hand off to your CPA or file TurboTax for yourself that really explain your crypto positions. So that's your 8949, your Schedule D that talks about your gains and losses, and maybe your Schedule 1 if you're receiving crypto as payment. So those 3 forms are the ones you want to keep in mind. We consider those the crypto reports, and those are kind of the ones that those are the ones rather that you need to, the IRS needs to see you report to file correctly, if you will. So we should also mention that we're a Keep Your CPA service. So while we have a CPA on board that guides our internal structure and how we do things, we work with other CPAs, and so you don't have to fire your CPA to work with us. We're simply the ones that create those forms and we'll go in and reconcile. There's also a lot of crypto tax softwares out there. You've heard of probably CoinLead, CoinTracker, CoinLedger, CoinTracking. There's so many of those. The Bay Area really went wild when they realized
Yeah.
a crypto tax issue. So everyone just created their own software, more or less. They're all very good, and they have their strengths, they have their weaknesses, but we saw an opportunity to get in there and be the service provider. So think of us like a layer 2. The layer 1s are probably like the softwares. We'll fly any of those planes. We're the pilots. We're the layer 2, and we'll go in there and make sure that things are categorized correctly, that has that kind of oversight. Categorizing all the trades and really going back and tracing everything is not something that the average person can do. And while those softwares are DIY or advertised as such, I mean, if you have a smaller portfolio, yes, by all means, go in there, use their calculation. But when you start using multiple wallets, multiple exchanges, and you're chasing cost-based all the way, it's really a forensic accounting.
Yeah,
So,
it gets a little like too complex, I would say, for the average person. And then also you have to consider, okay, like if you're running a business, if you have a company, if you're an entrepreneur, it's like all of my time going there. Why not outsource that support, right? And have someone do more deep, like you said, forensic kind of overview of everything.
that's it. It's really having a professional go in there that's a blockchain accountant that can go in there, look at your situation, and your portfolio is as unique as your fingerprint. No one's exact trade is the same as someone else's. So with that said, we have to look at it like such, and you really want someone to go in there and look at the opportunity. After you reconcile your account, you do the digital asset reconciliation and you tag everything. You can get the full accounting picture. Once that's in front of you, you can also look for opportunities. That's tax loss harvesting, that's cost-based modeling. There's different things you can do to reduce your taxable liability legally. So, but you have to get everything in that picture frame first, and really all of your accounts properly categorized through the digital asset reconciliation process. So that's a big part of what we do on our team. And then we can point out those areas of savings for you as well. And then ultimately you get those tax forms, and those are wrapped up in a bow, and you can hand those off to your CPA. They're excited to get that information, but it also produces an audit trail for them as well. So should anybody ask, how did you do this, or a tax authority, why did you do it this way? It's also nice to have someone that can stand behind it as well and tell them exactly how we did it, what the SOPs were, and that you had proper accounting doing it.
Well, I love that. Yeah. And I think for somebody navigating this independently, it can feel overwhelming. I feel like I haven't ever heard anyone say, yeah, doing taxes, it's so easy. It's so straightforward. I love the IRS. So I've never heard anyone with that sentiment. I feel like you focused on a problem that is universal to so many people, at least in the US. I know it's going to be different in different countries, but at least here, I know it is a very complex thing to navigate independently.
It is. There's some different nuances to it. One of the biggest things that we want to talk about today is the 1099 DA. So if there was ever a
Yes.
time to do your crypto taxes, and let's blow this myth out of the water real quick, that your crypto is anonymous. Couldn't be anything further than anonymous. It is a blockchain. It is on a public ledger.
Ledger, it's forever. Yeah.
You can go, it's there forever. It is not to be messed with. You can't, no one's cooking the books on a blockchain. That's why it is absolute truth. So when you're digging into these, anyone can access it, just like the internet. You can access a blockchain, you can audit it. So we really want to push that out to people first, so you can see all the activity. It's already there. You're not anonymous. And then especially when we start dealing with exchanges, like, I mean, how did you onboard your crypto in the first place? You probably had
You're KYC, yeah.
back in, you name it. That's how, if you made it to the DEX, you still had to onboard through a centralized exchange. So everyone knows who you are at this point. The 1099 DA even furthers that point, though. So now, instead of getting a 1099 at the end of the year for taking any kind of profits or losses, they're giving a 1099 DA for digital assets. So now the IRS is making us special. They have their own form for us, and it is where you report all of your crypto. Some people are trying to say, oh, that's great. We're really evolving, and now Wall Street, Main Street, and the IRS are all giving us a seat at the table. Okay, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is you're under a microscope now. So,
Yeah.
crypto taxes are being scrutinized, you're on their radar, and if you don't pay your crypto tax now, you're certainly going to start getting some, we're seeing some letters go out that are IRS.
And what kind of letters, like let's say somebody can expect some of this stuff, like what kind of letters do they send out?
There's a 6173, 6173A, 6174. So they're kind of like giving you a nudge. Your 10 reporting to us that the prior year that you have some crypto. Are you reporting this? So it's kind of letting them know they have an eye. And then it starts going up in severity. A lot of these you don't have to respond, which is nice. They're kind of just saying, hey, we see you. But it gives you, that's a hint to start doing your digital asset reconciliation, to start reconciling your crypto trades and making sure that you have the proper paperwork to support your crypto portfolio. We saw that happen last year, but now the 1099 DA changes everything. So
can you walk us through what the 1099 DA is and why this is so important?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the 1099 DA is the biggest thing that's happened in taxes. It's a warning to everybody in the sense that they're only going to report your proceeds. So if you sold and made some money last year and you've been in the game for a while and you're like, this is the year I'm going to sell something and take my profits, a lot of people did that. We've seen an overwhelming amount of people do that, where a lot of people have missed those other cycles before. So if you have proceeds, which means you made some money, they only have to report that this year. What they're going to not report is your cost basis. So what you acquired your crypto at. So if you bought an ETH at $2,000, you sold it at $4,000, you just made $2,000 gain. That's the $2,000 gain is what you should be paying taxes on, not what you acquired it for. That money was already yours. That's tax free. So what happens if you don't fill that in? You're getting a $0 cost basis. So on that $4,000, what you sold for, you're going to be paying taxes on that entire thing versus just the $2,000 gain. The cost basis is very important. You need to be able to calculate that. That is going to be left blank. You do that through the digital asset reconciliation. You go in the crypto tax software, you use a service like us, and we can actually go back and we can figure out what that number is and input that for you. That alone is going to save you a tremendous amount of money. Just in that situation I gave you, you're basically being double taxed for nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Like, oh, this crypto game is great. I thought I made all these things. And then the IRS bill comes and go, it just erased all of my gains. You know, I hope in some of these trades when they know that they sold for a gain, but they can't really understand why. It's because your cost basis is missing and you need to fill that in. That's on you. That's not on the IRS. That's not on the exchange. They're putting that on you. So we're trying to be that buffer and that to help people calculate that. And typically that alone, us being able to calculate that, will save you what our service cost is. If you don't pay that, you're typically losing thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars from your 1099 DA. So very important.
Wow. Well, I hope if you're watching this podcast episode, I hope you're taking notes here. I really want to just zoom in on this for anyone watching or listening. This is really important stuff, you guys. And if you are a crypto trader, if you're earning in our industry, this isn't stuff that's commonly talked about. I feel like this is in the fine print that you wouldn't know unless you talk to people like Nick, Count on Sheep. His whole life, his day to day is finding these little things and strategies to help people save. So I think that's awesome that, we're giving this education today. And I do want to show really quick, I want to show the website and just where people can learn more about some of this stuff, your educational resources. You guys have been making a lot of content too since we last chatted. So is there anything on the website as far as resources or places people can go?
Right, and this is our third iteration of our website, so I hope you all like it. We've been working hard on it. We keep growing. Our business keeps changing in a good way. So we've spruced it up. We want to keep it professional, but we also want to keep it so you understand. And one of the big things we do
looks great.
Is these 3 points right there are kind of the core service. One of the biggest things that people really get relieved about when they work with us is getting organized. So when you have all these wallets and these old exchanges and these cold wallet storages sitting out all over the place, point them into one view on one of these crypto tax softwares is one of the big things that we do. So we can get it all there, help you get it there, onboard you, and at least you can see, it's a mess, but it's all in one place. Then you move on to the reconciliation part, and that's where we can go ahead and reconcile all your trades for you professionally, make sure that they all align with proper accounting, and then
Nick, I'm so sorry. Can you just zoom in really quick on reconciliation? What do you mean by that term?
It's kind of a term that we coined because there wasn't really like reconciliation was always kind of what they were calling it, but we're calling it digital asset reconciliation. That's
okay.
Looking at once we get all of your wallets and exchanges in one place, we're actually able to go through and stitch them all back together. Because when you're moving from your coins from one exchange to another, you're basically causing issues, gaps in your accounting. For instance, if you transferred from, say, Coinbase to your wallet over at Binance to access some coins, which is so frequently done, they're not seeing it as a transfer. So a transfer is when you send from one wallet you own to another wallet you own. That's non-taxable. Since they can't see each other and they're decentralized and they don't have to talk to one another, Coinbase and Binance specifically, and all the other exchanges don't have to speak to one another, and they don't, because that's why they're decentralized. They're not saying that, hey, you own this wallet over there. They're just it's like you sent it out and they don't know where it went. So
two separate. They're looking at it as those are two separate like owners potentially.
totally. So they don't know where it's going. Like, that's part of the privacy and what we do. It causes an issue, a nightmare for the accounting. So what they'll do is they'll report on your 1099 DA that you sold it. So Coinbase will say, oh, it left our exchange, you sold it, even though you
Oh, wow.
that's a taxable event. And then it shows up
my.
and go, where did this come from? And at what cost basis was this acquired at? And they don't know. So they'll assign you a $0 cost basis. And we all know what a nightmare that is, just from that last 1099 DA talk. Really being able to go through and reconcile correctly is going to give you the right tax liability. If you don't do this, you're going to get the absolute worst tax treatment ever. So it's something worth doing, and it's something worth having a professional do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's just things as an individual, like most people watching this, you have a niche. You either have like a day job, you have a company you're running, a project you're running.
Yeah.
I feel like not everybody has time in the day to become a crypto tax expert. So why not work with the people who are doing this, who live and breathe this every day? Like every time I talk to you guys, I learn something new. So I love it. And yeah, just kind of going deeper into the website here. Is there anything else that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I think you scroll down and see kind of what we do. People often ask about security concerns. I love that about our group. And I love that about Base community. And I love that about other communities that we work with. And that's crypto in general. One of the big things is we work with the software. So if you have a crypto tax software that you already work with, that's fine. We're agnostic. We know how to use all of those softwares.
Wow.
So, that's a big one, but also they're the third party. So you control your own login information. You're giving us view access to be able to go in there and reconcile for you. But mind you, those softwares aren't your keys. They don't own your keys. They don't own any access to your portfolios. So that's the nice part. And they're just mirroring your portfolio and what you have in it so it can be reconciled. It does not ever, you don't ever have access to your keys, you don't have access to your wallets, you don't have access to any of the exchanges. That's not what they do. So we use them as a third party. They're already secure in their own right. And then you invite us in to do the reconciliation. But it has no access to your coins, it has no access to any part of your portfolio. It just simply mirrors what you have going on. So you can always rest assured using a service like us that there's no room for error. There's no room for anyone to take anything from you.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And like you said, all of these transactions in crypto are on a publicly distributed ledger, right? So I feel like with software like these, they're just going out and accessing publicly available information. So yeah, I love that.
The book a meeting right there is important to me to highlight. That's the best way to get started with us. Feel free to read around the website, but really talking to one of our blockchain experts. We have a free call where you can just call someone that is doing this kind of work day in and day out for Count on Sheep. That's worked for us for years. Armand is right there highlighted, and he's glad to speak with you. Arguably, Armand probably has the most reps in the country for doing digital asset reconciliation and this kind of work. So being able to talk to him for free, being able to understand what the offering is and get a quote for how many hours it's going to take to get you reconciled, he's amazing at what he does. If you have, really some deep-rooted concerns and things that you want to talk about specifically about your portfolio, and you want to deep dive on your portfolio specifically, I would talk to Matt Leong, former Big Four auditor, Ernst & Young. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. He will sit down and discuss all the ins and outs with your portfolio itself.
Wow.
We also have a new division that's opening up. You guys asked for it. We're giving it to you. We weren't filing before. So Count on Sheep still doesn't file, but there's a COS Elite division that's opening up.
Ooh, okay.
Run it all in for you, which means after we're done and we create the crypto reports, you want us to help you file your return as well. That's going to be accessible through COS Elite. And Garrett Taylor, former Ernst & Young taxation, then worked for a big family office here in town, a billionaire, is running that firm. So we were happy to give you over and help you streamline the filing process all the way through for people that don't have a CPA option or want that extra service. So a lot of new things. We're stepping up.
Love to see this. And isn't it crazy how from the time we first connected, you guys have evolved so much. Your project has really matured. I feel like we are now coming back full circle, and both of us, right? Like our projects have really evolved and ended up in different places. And I want to touch also on like the milestones. Like, what are some things, we had our podcast, I want to say in 2024. We're in 2026 now. I'm curious, since 2024, what are some milestones you're proud of? And what are some things in the future that you guys are looking forward to as well?
Wow. I mean, it's been quite the journey. And Rachel, it's been quite the journey for you too. I got to give you,
Yeah.
I mean, you've come such a long way too. And and it's cool. It's believing in something. It's brick by brick. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, showing up every single day.
Up in the bear, and waiting for the bull. And we've seen both sides of that equation so far here at Count on Sheep. But the team has grown significantly. We've grown more. Our leadership team has grown significantly. We've had more former Big Four people join. We have arguably some of the best blockchain accountants in the U.S. We've expanded our offerings across the world. So we have clients in Canada, Australia, EU. So just about everywhere. We've expanded our footprint as well. We have an international group. So in South Africa, we also have a small team that's growing out there from one of their top universities. So we're very excited to have that footprint in South Africa and really be on that European time zone. We also have some of that South African team that's also in Asia as well. So my last company, we grew 900 plus people. It was mostly US based, but to have a truly global company, because crypto is global at its core.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that means a lot to me. It's a huge milestone, and to be able to work with this global team and have them be able to take over when we're going to bed, they're picking up our slack and working with our accounts to make sure everything gets hit on deadline. I'm just very proud of this team and the culture that they've created within an accounting firm that I didn't know if could have a culture. And
Wow.
get along, they enjoy what they do. They're always going out of their way for our clients, and they're solving some huge problems for people. Any kind of DeFi activity you have, they're working on it, from perpetual trading to yield.
We got to talk about that. We got the perp dex. One of my big clients has a perp dex. We got traders on that. So this is just invaluable education. I actually want to say, Nick, like maybe in the future we can do a series, because I feel like a topic like this, you can only scratch the surface on a podcast. There's so much to dive into. So I would love to continue doing more content with you guys. And the fact that you're local too, I mean, building community here in Southern California. I know I've connected with you with several of my contacts down here, V Dizzle, shout out V Dizzle, and the amazing San Diego and Southern California community. So I would love to continue educating, because we all know in California, I've never heard anyone say, oh yeah, it's super, super easy running a business in California and doing taxes out here. So we definitely need you out here.
Yeah, we have the worst tax code. We're fighting the good fight here in California. So if we're able to, get results for people in California, we're really able to get results for people anywhere. But my job is to make sure you pay the least amount possible while staying compliant. And that's what our mission is.
Love it. Well, I do want to share a couple more things. We talked about milestones. We touched on some roadmap items. But Nick, what are some things in the immediate future that people can expect from Count on Sheep? And also, do you want to share any important tax deadlines or dates that people should know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, April 15th is coming up. We're entering tax season right now. So we're just kind of honoring the last people kind of for our preseason rate, and unfortunately rates do go up during tax season. It's just, there's a lot of people trying to fit in the door. So, our hourly does move up. So, if there's someone that wants to get this done now, please do it. Please give us a call, and we want to get you in on those rates. The other piece is, don't sleep on extension season. So a lot of people, this is what the wealthy know, and they're not usually they're paying their estimated payments on April 15th. So basically what they think they owe, and then they take the rest of the summer to really figure out exactly what they owe, and that's really where we can come into play. And we have a lower tax rate in the summertime, and we can work on your taxes then. So you can come in, get an extension filed, and we can work on your crypto tax reports in the summer. So food for thought, and something that you guys should really consider as well, the audience.
Well, you're hearing it here, you guys. We are entering tax season, and I also want to share, I have had this referral link for Count on Sheep, you guys, and I want to share this with you guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or X, you will see the link in the description. Count on Sheep. I'm not going to read the referral code, but it's share.countonsheep.com with my referral code. So you guys will see that in the description. I'll drop it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and X.
Yeah, and give Rachel a shout. And also, if you're on any of our calls, we always ask where you came from. So don't be afraid. Tell us it was Rachel. There's only one Rachel. that
There aren't a lot of Rachels.
And if you go through our call center, if you're talking to one of our people, please let us know. We love giving attribution to the people that help us out.
Well, yeah, if you guys need support on your taxes, if you have a company in crypto, if you're running a project or just an individual who trades, I think this is really important. And also, no shade to H&R Block or anyone like that, but when you go to a place like that, like I've had this happen in my crypto career, they're not as savvy to the strategies and some of the things that you could do, like Nick was mentioning, to optimize your tax experience. Some of these older tax companies, they're not as savvy to the crypto space, Yeah,
100%. And I wouldn't throw any of those guys under, but I mean, there really is a difference between DeFi and TradFi. We're on the DeFi side. We always stay in our lane, which is crypto. That's the language that we speak. And there's a difference there, and there is a language barrier. Trust me. And also, I'm not pointing CPAs. Keep your CPA, but also get your tax reports done by Crypto Tax Service. I mean, it's really going to help out. And the CPAs are usually excited. That's why we work with so many different CPAs. It's because they're relieved they don't have to do this, and they don't have the tools, they don't have the formulas to make it efficient, to go fast. So you're not being overcharged, etc. So the crypto tax reports really do matter. Your 1099 DA is coming out this year, and make sure you get that cost basis filled in. Otherwise, it's going to be a world of hurt, and it's going to erase a lot of those gains, unfortunately. So we're here to help any way we can.
I love it. So, okay, I know on our last episode, I think you guys said something to the effect of, if you walk away with anything, understand tax loss harvesting. For this episode, it sounds like we have our new thing that people should be focused on.
Yeah, I want to bring something new to the table. I mean, the funny part is we were talking last time in the bear market. We're kind of in, a weird.
I know. Yeah, we happen to align these episodes.
But I think glass is half full. I think that we're going to rally here this year. But with that said, if we are on that 4-year cycle, and we do go that way, there is tax loss harvesting. You can, sell off things that aren't working for you, meme coins, whatever. Take those losses. Take losses against future gains. If you see something down, sell it. And you can take those losses on the blockchain. Those can be accounted for. And then when the gains come back up, you can use those losses to offset some of those gains. We'll always preach that tax loss harvesting. That's why the wealthy don't care which way it goes. Line could be going down, line could be going up. There'll be tax loss harvesting on the way down. They'll be taking their profits on the way up. So we want to give that same advice to you all. That's not just a wealthy person's game. This is for everyone to play. And remember that you can sell things that don't work out for you and buy back into different positions. That's the way that people I see winning in the tax game.
Love that. Well, really great advice here today. And I feel like, we've gotten a holistic breakdown of what Count on Sheep is, the services you're providing, some of the top strategies, things to look out for, dates. Is there anything we missed? I mean, we talked about milestones, the roadmap. Do you kind of want to give a direct call to action, like where people can get started? I mean, they can schedule on the site, but is there more?
That's the two best ways to get a hold of us. Really, the website works very well. Book a meeting on our Calendarly. You'll get a professional on the line. We're going to walk you through everything. I promise you it's painless. I know taxes are a drag. Trust me, we make it about as easy as it gets. And if you feel more comfortable with the call, you call into our call center. We're available 24/7 at that call center, and they will reroute you and they will set the appointment for you with a team member that makes the most sense. So whatever you're comfortable with, there's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. Those are the two main ways. I'm not trying to push people. I'm just telling you, tax season gets crazy. We're right here at the starting line. So, if you have the opportunity, let's book early. Let's lock you in at a lower rate, and let's get this out of the way. Unfortunately, the people that wait, are paying a little extra. But at the end of the day, getting this reconciled, getting your 1099 DA filled out correctly with the right cost basis is really going to save you guys a lot of money and from a lot of hurt rather this tax season.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys heard it here. You can go to countonsheep.com. By the way, it's so cool. I was telling Nick before, they got the handle at Count on Sheep. They got countonsheep.com. Super easy to find them. So just look up countonsheep.com and you can go here to schedule a time to talk to one of the specialists or call their number listed here. So yeah, Nick, this has been a great show. And just thinking back to when I first had you guys on, I'm just proud of you and all the work you've done. You guys have been crushing it. And yeah, do you have any final words of wisdom or anything you want to share before we drop?
No, Rachel, I mean, I'm just really excited to be back on the show, and thank you for having me. It's fun watching both of our growth. It's such a dynamic industry that we're in. And, the way that you help people, the way that you guide people towards things, the way that you educate, you're not telling people what to do. I mean, I really align with that. So I'm just really humbled to be back on the show. I want to help anyone in the base community we can, and anyone that is listening. And yeah, we just want to know we're here for you. And yeah, we really appreciate it.
That means a lot. And yeah, I know in our industry and in the base community, there are a lot of people that I know many people in the community that could really benefit from this service, project founders, people who are trading in the trenches. So you guys definitely click the link in the description if you guys want to go through my referral link to connect with Count on Sheep. And Nick, cheers to you, man. Thank you for coming on. Our very first sponsor that has supported us, you guys. I'm over the moon, and I want to keep cooking content with you guys. Something I've been reflecting on, your company came out of a problem, right? You need to figure out how to do crypto taxes. With Onchain Media, that came out of a problem of people need to tell their story. People need help with marketing, storytelling, getting the word out about what they're doing. And I feel honored that I get to do this for work and show up and help people and help projects. So yeah, cheers to you, man, and welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. And yeah, maybe next time you'll hear less of me and more of my talented team. We're always there for you. So if you ever want to do a Q&A or anybody with our CPA or, with Matt Leong from Big Four, I mean, there's people available to the community that we always want to provide value and education.
Love that. And you guys are local, so I'm down to come out and cook up some content IRL. You guys have beautiful, from what I've seen from our content, beautiful offices and definitely probably spaces for content creation. So we'll definitely jam and see what we can cook up to continue educating the community.
Awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, Nick. Thanks so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.